Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my patch 10.8 TFT patch note rundown. I played a lot of TFT in the last couple weeks. I feel pretty good on understanding the current state of the game and the meta and stuff like that. I think the biggest problem with the game at the moment, before we get to that, let's say the current state of the game is pretty good. I think on a competitive health wise, there's a lot of viable comps you can play. I count pretty much 9 different comps every game, or 9 or so comps I see consistently that are played at like a top level. And a lot of times it's like whoever 3 stars their carry unit, their 4 cost unit, ends up winning the game frequently. At the very top of the list, there's like 6-star Guardians, Mecha Infiltrators, like Cybers and Darkstar, I think are very, very good. Like those 4 comps are like the creme de la creme at the very top. And then below that, you have like Vel'Koz, you have like Ieyasu, you have like Protectors, Celestial, stuff like that. That round out the kind of B tier-ish, A tier-ish, non-S tier part of the meta. The thing that I think is kind of annoying at the moment is twofold. One is the game itself is balanced around items, because items are incredibly powerful. You build comps around the items you get, always. And because the new, set introduced a lot of RNG carousels that make it very difficult for you to plan around items. And a lot of times it's like, well, you could just pivot, but you can't really pivot in this game past a certain point. Like, if you're committed and you've already started re-rolling for a certain comp, even in stage 3, it's like really hard to pivot out of that comp and go somewhere else if you've already invested 20 plus gold into it, or 10 or plus 20 plus gold into the comp. So when you get like full defensive carousels or full offensive carousels and you need the reverse, it feels really, really bad. Additionally, the, what else? The damage change in set 3, I think is really bad for the game. In prior sets, what happens is the players dictated how fast the game went, because if you leveled earlier, you would deal more damage to other players. So you put more pressure on the lobby. So if you're first place, win streaking, you can level early to put more pressure on the lobby and force the other opponents to also level or roll a little bit to stabilize better. In this set, it's a lot easier to kind of just ignore all that. Like, you pretty much never have to roll set like early stage 2, even stage 3 a lot of times, because the damage done that you get per stage, the base damage, is so low until later levels that doesn't matter. Those 2 things are probably the most annoying things to deal with in the current set. I know they've adjusted both, so I'm kind of interested to see what else the patch notes are. Anyways, let's go. Welcome mech pilots. It's patch 10.8, y'all. We got some stuff to talk about. First off, a brand new legendary champion Xerath is here, ready to cap out your Darkstar and Sorcerer comps. This late game carry drops meteors all over the battlefield, which get additional power from killing enemies. Okay, we're adding 2 new galaxies, the Trade Sector and Super Dense. Trade Sector will give you the opportunity to reroll your shot more than once per round for free. In Super Dense Galaxy, you'll get a free Force of Nature at level 5. Initial thoughts about these, by the way. Trade Sector means leveling is worth a lot. So if getting an extra, and you're going to 3-star a lot of units in Trade Sector, like a ton. Your mid game is going to be nuts. Like, everyone's going to have like two costs, 2-starred everywhere, pretty much. 2 and 3 costs. In the Super Dense Galaxy, you get free Fawn. Can make reroll comps really deadly, because Fawn is more effective. Like, Fawn is really, really strong if you're rerolling. Just getting an extra unit when you're spending like 50 gold at a certain level means you could stabilize 1 level earlier. In terms of balance adjustments, we're sticking with our theme of buffing the weak over nerfing the strong. I like that. Big highlights include buffing to underperforming 4-cost champions like Wukong and Soraka. Okay, great. They're really bad. Nerfs to Super Mech and Shaco. Okay. I don't want to see this. We can keep going. So Xerath, Darkstar, Sorcerer, yada. Wow, his attack speed is nuts. What? 0.9? 30 out of 80. He transforms so many meteors to strike foes. So it's his ulti, right? In place of his normal attacks, meteors deal damage on impact. If they kill a target, all adjacent people take X damage or are stunned for whatever. Wow, that sounds really strong. I'm surprised they're adding an additional sorcerer. I feel like there's already 7 sorcerers in the game, so this makes the 8th sorcerer in the game. That's quite a lot. Additionally, they're adding a Darkstar, which there's already a lot of Darkstar units, and they're adding 1 more. I'm kind of surprised they're deciding to stuff both of those with even more things instead of rounding out maybe an additional Celestial or additional Protector, something like that. let's not really talk too much about this. I think I'm not really interested in that at the moment. Trade sector, reroll, super dense galaxy. We talked about the benefits of that. There's a 50% chance of getting special galaxy versus normal games with trade sector and super dense a tad more favored than the others. Okay, I think it's 45% right now with 15% on each current one. So they increase the chances of getting a special galaxy by a little bit overall and probably decrease the other few. Okay, cool. We're making it more difficult to purposely lose streak open 4 as a now risk being eliminated before stage 4-7. We think last streaking should be a strategy, especially a fallback for unlucky early shops or slow compositions, but they should be actively trying to lose by small margins rather than happily fall on open 40. Okay. I'll be honest. My bad. Okay. I do this all the time, like literally nonstop. So, what are they doing? They're making it so they're making win streaks go from 2 to 4 to you need 5 to get the 3 gold. So losing your win streaks doesn't matter a lot. The base damage per stage is increased from 0 to 3. 3 is kind of an enormous damage increase. You probably shouldn't be open forwarding because you're going to take a stupid amount of damage now. Okay. I'll give it a shot and see if it's as bad as I think it is, but it looks really rough to recover. You're probably taking on average like 10 to 12 more damage on the round. It's really bad. Yeah, I'm reading it wrong. Oh, it's reverse. Wait. Oh, right. So it's less base damage, but more damage from the units remaining. So 1, 2, 3, 2 damage. So it only needs. If I open 4 and 3 units survive, I take 6 damage instead of 3. Which is about the same. But if it's level 4, which you'll open 4 into level 4 and level 5 players at the tail end of stage 2, then I'm taking 10. You're probably taking about 8 to 12 more damage. 8 to 10 more damage. Yeah, I don't know. That seems really risky. I probably wouldn't recommend it. Introduce new carousel variations. Keep an eye out. I don't know what this means. I'm kind of scared because one of my biggest problems with the patch currently is the carousel variations. So, what does this mean? Like, how do I keep an eye out? What the fuck? Usually, I expect patch notes to tell me what they're doing, and rather than being like, "Good luck." Let's keep going. New traits, 9 Blade Masters, 9 Dark Star, 6 Infiltrator, 6 Protectors, 9 Rebel, 8 Sorcerer. Pretty much anything that you could spat, with the exception, pretty much everything you could spat gets an additional high end. I really like these. I think especially for the casual player, chasing these is really, really fun. I don't expect many of these to be ultra OP, and they're going to be really, really rare for the most part to hit these. But it will be really, really, aside from 8 Sorcerer, right? 8 Sorcerer is possible with Xerath. But like, for the most part, they're probably not going to be very good, but they're going to be very amusing when you hit it. Celestial Heal went up by 10% and then 5% at 6. I think they were worried about Celestial being too good, especially with other nerfs to other units. Cybernetic got nerfed at 6. I think it's pretty fair. There were, 6 Cyber is one of the best comps in the game. And so I think a little bit of nerf to that, not a big deal. Still going to be good. Mech pilots are now 1800 plus 50% pilot's health. So when you 3-star them, it's the higher base early, but less effective later. So you lose a lot of their health. What else? And they're nerfed to the actual unit damage as well. By about 100 a level, and then level 8 loses 300. Actually, you only lose on level 4 and 5. Or level, I guess, this is 7, 8, 6, 5, 4, 3, right? Yeah, so you only lose on 7, 8. This is not that big of a deal. The lost health matters quite a bit. Space Pirate 4-item drop chance increased to 20%. That's pretty... It's like, for Space Pirates is always going to be a super high roll comp. Either you hit like GP at first roll on 7, or like first roll at 8, and you can rush it, or it's not playable. I think it's cool. That makes it more playable. It's just going to be very RNG. On average, you get like what, 12 to 14 items total in the game. With Space Pirates, you can end with like 25 if you get really lucky. Sorcerer's spell damage goes up at 4. Sorcerers, and that's it. Why would they buff sorcerers? I feel like sorcerers are very, very strong right now. The most meta sorcerer comp right now is the 6 Star Guardian 4 sorcerer comp, and it's very, very good, especially with nerf to cyber and mech. Like, it's only going to be better, right? So I'm surprised they decided to buff this at all and not change any of the other values. Seems very strange. It's a small amount, so it won't matter too much, but just an interesting choice. Caitlyn damage got increased at 2-star by 500. Wow. Okay. Well, if you weren't one-shotting anyone at the, the first stage before, you're gonna do it now for sure. That'll kill even tank lines right now. That's pretty crazy. Zai got buffed a little bit. I do think she's relatively weak, unless you have like a Shiv on her. I think that's good. 3-star Zoe got buffed. It's cool because you never go 3-star Zoe. I think late game Zoe's actually pretty good, but mid game she's really irrelevant. So I don't mind the buff to this. The damage goes up by a little bit as well. That's okay. I think Zoe's pretty weak. Excuse me. Annie armor going up. Oh wow, they buffed Annie. Okay. Her shield goes up as well. I'm surprised they're buffing Annie. Okay, wow. Especially nerfing the mechs, it could be that Annie is strong enough to be a frontline for multiple, like 4 sword comps, 6 sword comps now. Because she might be solo, like, possible to frontline. Maybe. I don't know, we'll see. But these are pretty big increases to our numbers, and a nice little armor buff. Darius got decreased from 70 to 60. This is great. I think stacking Darius right now is super fun. He's probably one of the most fun champions to stack in the game at the moment. He's definitely going to have... He's one of the stronger units in the mid game. Falls off really hard. So I don't mind this buff at all. Lucian damage goes down. Lucian's one of the strongest 2-star. I think the strongest 2-star unit in the game. I don't think his nerfs are going to affect him at all. Rakan Grant Interest now targets the furthest enemy within 3 hexes. So he doesn't just ulti the front line, he'll ulti a little bit past it to get a bigger ulti. Okay, it like centralizes his ulti to hit more people. Sure, okay. Generally, that's what it means. You can kind of fiddle with it if you're the enemy player, but that's just a very strange targeting direction. But I kind of understand what they're trying to do with this. The knockup radius got decreased to 1. And what did he get for that? His total mana got decreased by 50. I think this kind of sucks, honestly. It means he's better without Shojin before, but I don't think he ran the comp without a Shojin. So I think he's worse. He's worse with Shojin now because you're not going to be able to get that insane AoE range. The difference between the radius matters a lot, actually. But maybe it's... We'll see. I'll see how it shows out in game, but off the top of my head, it seems like it's a little bit of a nerf. Especially after you get the Shojin. Shen health goes up by 100. I don't think Shen was bad. The dodge at 3-star Shen goes up by 1 second. Makes it so it's worth 3-starring him now. Generally speaking, I didn't really like doing it before, but this is pretty good. This is surprising. I'm surprised they buffed Shen. I think he's really strong for what he brings to the comp. Tier 3 units, Shaco got 5 damage AD nerf, and his Deceive got nerfed by 50%. I think that's pretty reasonable. Right now in 6 Dark Star comps, people are stacking Shaco. And it's pretty, like, I don't think you should be able to stack Shaco over Jhin and get better results most of the times. So I think that it's pretty fair to nerf this champion. Especially because his Deceive damage goes through Bramble, right? Which is one of the defensive mechanisms to deal with high like burst damage. Additionally, all the mech units pretty much got nerfed outside Annie, it looks like. So Rumble didn't get touched, but Annie got buffed, Shaco got nerfed. And then the mech seems... I don't know if it's unplayable, honestly, but it does look a little bit weaker for sure. Like a decent hit. Syndra range getting increased is surprising. I don't think Syndra needs more power. One of the ways to beat Syndra was to position your units in the backline and force the Syndra and the rest of the Star Guardians to declump. Giving her more range kind of feels like it's something I would do only if it felt like Syndra was having difficulty carrying and put herself in bad positions. But like a lot of times that was just positioning error from the Star Guardian player. So I'm surprised that she's getting a range buff. Like, this is very confusing. Especially when the 4 sorcerers are getting a buff as well, you know? So it looks like Star Guardian got buff here, Star Guardian got buff here, got buff here. It's a top tier comp as well, so it's just going to be the number 1 comp next patch, maybe? With Cyber getting a nerf? Okay, let's keep looking. Fizz got a nerf here. Oh yeah, Mech got hit pretty hard. Jinx got the attack speed buff. I think Jinx being a little bit stronger is actually completely reasonable. She feels a little bit lackluster, especially compared to Kayle and Jhin. Usually right now, if you run Blaster Brawlers, you can get secure top 4, but getting first place is really difficult unless you 3-star Jhin, which I think is, even with good items, I think that's kind of weird, honestly. So I don't mind giving her a little bit of a buff. Soraka health got increased. I think her buffing her flat health is nice. Buffing her healing is nice. She has a 20,000 heal. Okay. I almost glanced over it because I didn't realize they added a 0, but it looks like regardless how much healing reduction you have, Soraka will full heal her comp, guaranteed. Soraka was the worst 3-star 4 costume in the game. Now there might be a situation where maybe you might want to try kind of making her 3-star. I don't think that it's wrong to do this, by the way. I think 2000 wasn't even good enough. Because when a lot of the comps have healing reduction, like, if you're a defensive 4-cost unit, you have to do a lot to warrant getting buffed. That's just the way it is. And so I think that she did need this, and she's still not going to be that good. Wukong cycle damage, base damage got increased by 50 and 50 here. Worth it. He's not very good. He's one of the weaker 4 costs. I'm completely down with this thing. Buffed his thing to 4,000 damage as well. That's really nice. So if you're going stuff like 4 Vanguard, 4 Mystic, you actually have a decent amount of buffs to be able to. You can go for a third 4 cost, a 3-star 4 cost over Mordekaiser and Jace. That's pretty nice. It means that there's actually a playable way to play that comp. Vel'Koz's raid duration got decreased, but now cast more efficiently on smaller groups of units. Anything that fixes AI, I'll take half a second off to make his AI better, because usually during his half a second, he's missing them anyway, so I don't really care. I don't know how effective this is, but I hope it's good. Asol got buffed by 150 life and 5 armor. Wow. Okay. That's a lot. Wait, that is a lot. Huh. Maybe Rebels are playable again? I saw some people trying 6 Rebel recently with GP Asol from before. It's possible that that the comp may be decent once the nerfs to 2 of the top comps happen. Overall, I'm kind of looking at this. They didn't nerf Aurelia, so she's still going to be godly. 6 Cyber is still going to be very good. And Mech got nerfed as one of the top comps. Star Guardians is going to be sick, just still incredibly powerful. So probably going to be the best comp in the game alongside Cyber right now. Continuing on. Items, Chalice now also grants mana to the holder. Okay, Star Guardian buff, huge Star Guardian buff, because it's like a mini Seraphs to your comp, right? And you can stack it on Syndra without feeling bad about it being in a spot of Seraphs. So Deathblade starting stacks is now 0. Oh, wait, but the AD per stack is 30. Okay, so you need 1 kill to make it worth it, pretty much. Anything past the first 2 kills is going to be a huge damage increase. I think this is a right change for the item, because 15 AD wasn't really cutting it for this item at all. You really needed the extra AD. This might actually be like maybe a Jhin or something item, something that you can apply your stuff to all the units. Maybe even Jinx, so that you can just get a lot of AD. Frozen Heart slow increased by 10%. I think Frozen Heart's already kind of good. I'm surprised they're buffing it even more. RFC bonus range 200%. Pretty much if you RFC the unit, it's not going to be possible for you to jump. Now displays a visual beam on attack when increasing the range of low range units. Okay, that's cool. You're gonna never jump if you're an assassin, or never move even if you're a melee unit. That means you still have like 2 hexes. That's quite a lot. Shroud of Stillness width got increased by 0.5 hexes. I think this makes this item good, actually. Before it was only good into rebels. Now it's like you can hit like half hex kind of left and right as well, which is really strong. Or like an additional hex. I think it'll actually hit 2 hexes instead of 1. Is how it's done. Because it's 2 full hexes because it's 1.5. So I think it's actually pretty nice. Tier to Goddess mana goes down from 20 to 15. All complete items adjusted accordingly. This is a huge nerf, by the way. So this is the Star Guardian nerf. And this is probably the nerf to any item. I think they have to do this for the health of the game. To some extent. Because you're balancing everything around the idea that Seraphs at 40 mana... Like, it makes 40 mana lower champions disgusting. But... it's a huge change. I don't know the implications of all of this. I just think, yeah, 5 mana has always been a very, very powerful stat. But still, I think Sorcerer's going to be good. Zeke's range got increased from 2 hexes to 1. So it goes only 1 left and right. And then the attack speed got increased to 30%. Wow. So you're given 15 AD, 200 health, 30% to... So it's 90% attack speed. It's not that much of an additional problem for Zeke's. This is pretty good. Definitely playable. It's very strong at the moment because when you think about the items you get in the game, so you probably get 12 items on average by stage 5, sorry. So at 12 items, which is 6 complete items, that is enough for 2 full carries. Usually what happens is most comps have 1 carry and 1 like off carry, like secondary carry. And it's really rare for you to split your items on multiple units. So the value of your attack speed buff on more than 1 unit isn't really relevant. I think the Zeke's thing will actually help out a lot for almost every comp in the game. Zeke's is 1 hex around all. Oh, so it's even less of a positioning requirement because it's circular. That makes it a lot more flexible. I'm definitely down to see what would happen just stacking the Zeke's. Children Overtime now have a 66% reduced effectiveness. You can't clutch games with Annie or Mordekaiser anymore. Wait, it's fake news? It's still a straight line? Hold on, let me ban them real quick. My bad. Sorry, it's just left and right on Zeke's. I don't know why I read that. But Shields used to be really OP, and I actually feel bad because I just tweeted something about Karma being really strong with 6 Darkstar in overtime. But it used to be that Mordekaiser and Annie you could just God mode overtime because there wasn't any cut to their shielding. Now that's not possible anymore. I think it's good. It's fine. It just makes that stuff consistent. Cybernetic now correctly. Bronze level trait, okay. Now states his shield lasts 8 seconds. Fix the bugs where Wukong was not affecting enemies. Adding additional death blade to unit during combat no longer resets all the counters, okay. Fix the bug where selling a mech pirate with trait active will give you 0 gold. Where super mech was a benefit from infiltrator or demolition trait bonus when on the away board. Oh, that's surprising. Fix a bug. Kane spawns 2 rows closer. Mobile players can now see what items he has. Oh, that's cute. Overall, I hope they hit one of the big problems with, I think, the current state of the game. Aside from that, I think they nerfed a couple of the top comps. I'm worried about the effectiveness of sorcerers at the moment. I think they'll be very, very strong. I also think that maybe people might look to go mech sorcerers again. I don't know. Mech just got nerfed. It seems interesting. Maybe people will try different variations of sorcerers now that sorcerers are stronger than ever. And Aurelia is still going to be a monster. Like, don't let this nerf fool you. 6 Cyber Aurelia is still going to be incredibly powerful. So I think top comps are going to be Star Guardians and then 6 Cyber. And I think Darkstar Jin is still going to be fine. Darkstar Shaco got a little bit of a nerf though, for sure. He's kind of interesting. I'm really interested to see if sorcerers are going to be as strong as I think. But overall, the patch is not bad. Kind of wish there was maybe a little bit of nerf to Aurelia, because I think that unit's like kind of game warping. She kind of forces players to build Bramble, or else if you're playing against an Aurelia player, she just one-shots your whole team. But we'll see what happens, I guess.